not supposed to be doing anything. Now, any one of y'all got a question?
Because that's true, right? Because they give it up last supper, per se. They would drink, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. It's not a sin to drink. Christ drank.
You gonna put all this together?
Yeah, Jesus Christ drank. Give me that in Matthew chapter 11 about Christ drank wine. Oh no, you can just leave it there, bro. We about to leave it in a minute. But I appreciate the help, bro.
Hey,
but you good.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Why do, and I believe this is, and I believe this is a race.
Thank y'all for even considering, man.
Why do they have a picture of a first saved? I know we don't have that picture many times. Why do they have a picture of the first saved Caucasian Jesus? That's a question.
Wisdom of Solomon 14.
Yeah,
Wisdom of Solomon 14 and verse 21, I believe it is. He said, why did he have the Caucasian depiction of Jesus Christ, which we know as the image of the beast? Because when you go into, this is the image of the beast. The Caucasian depiction of Christ, the Christian cross, Christianity, all of that is the image of the beast, bro. All of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's completely against God. This ain't got nothing to do with God. God, Jesus Christ is a so-called black man. We were made in the image of Jesus Christ.
My bad, my apologies. So I thought y'all were talking as far as like
Christianity?
Yeah.
No, hell no.
My bad, my apologies.
Hell no.
My apologies.
Hey, bro, we just talking Bible, and the Bible is the furthest thing from Christianity, man. Bring this out.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 15.
Read.
For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he had made an image of his child, soon taken away.
When he had made an image of his child, soon taken away. That father was Pope Alexander VI. That was the father of Cesare Borgia, the man that they used as the depiction of Jesus Christ. He died as a young man. He died from diseases, STDs.
Right.
Now watch this. Jump down to verse 21 about why he made the image. Is that it?
Oh, you don't want me to finish reading?
Go ahead, keep reading. But I don't want to read all the way down. I want to get to the point.
All right.
Finish that verse when we get to the point.
Has made an image of his child, soon taken away. Now honoring him as a god.
Now honor him as what?
As a god.
Now they honor the white man as a god. Read.
Which was then a dead man.
Which is nothing but a dead man. Read.
And delivered to those that were under him ceremony and sacrifice.
And they delivered to him ceremonies and sacrifices like Lent or like Easter, Good Sunday, Good Friday. That's all white Jesus trash. Get to the point. Watch this.
You say you want 21 now?
I think it's verse 21. Yep. Now watch. This is why they made the image. Read.
And this was an occasion to deceive the world.
Read it again.
Verse 21. And this was an occasion to deceive the world.
That's why they made the image.
That's coming from the book?
That's coming from the Bible. Wow. They made this image to deceive the world. And the world he's talking about is the world of the Israelites.
Right.
So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They want us deceived. They want us deceived. They don't want us to know who we are. They don't want us to know that Jesus Christ looks just like us. We are the brothers and sisters, the sons and daughters of Jesus Christ. In the flesh, bro. In the flesh. But they made that picture to do what? Read it again.
And this was an occasion to deceive the world. For a man serving either calamity or a tyrant did ascribe unto stones and stocks the incommunicable
name, yo. The incommunicable name, which is the name of God. The name of God. People will say it's the Tetragrammaton. People would say, well, we believe Yahweh. We say Yahweh. Even though we usually just say Father, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's the reason why they made this image.
Oh man, he come from the Bible.
Hey, and give me Revelation 13 and verse 15 and 16 about what would happen if you didn't worship that image. Let me show you what the Bible says about about this image right here. Read that.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13, starting at verse 15.
Read.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
He's talking about the white man. He had power to give life to the image of the beast. The image of the beast is Christianity. The image of the beast is white man Jesus. Yeah, well, Satan gave him power. The devil gave him the power. Keep reading.
That the image of the beast shall both speak and cause.
And you know it speaks. It speaks in movies. Like The Passion of the Christ, Greatest Story Ever Told, etc. Keep reading.
and caused that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Should be killed. And when did that happen? That happened on those plantations, those sugar plantations, those cotton plantations. Our slave masters were Christians, right? They were followers of Christianity. So they beat their denomination of Christianity in us. And if we refuse to follow Christianity, what will happen? We will become strange fruit on one of those trees.
You know what? That's the
they will
question.
kill us, bro.
My apologies for something, man. I don't start this too long, man. My apologies.
No, you good,
hey,
bro.
Look, hey, check it, right? This is a question I was gonna come to, bro. And I saw one of the brothers saying something last night to where, why would they give up something? When we come up here and do the state, why would they give up?
We came over here as what? No, we weren't indentured slaves. No, we were chattel slaves.
Okay.
Yeah.
And say, why would they give us a book to say, believe this? Believe this while we beating y'all ass, while we raping and torturing y'all women. Still believe this. Like, dude was like, that was their the New Testament. That was their way of excusing themselves for enslaving people.
When we were slaves, right? One thing that we were not allowed to do was what? Free. So they didn't give us the book. What they did was taught us their ideology of what the book says. They didn't teach us what the book says. They taught us Christianity. You got to separate Christianity from the book. This book is not a book of religion. This book is a book of laws, commandments, judgments, and testimonies, bro. It's a history book. It's not a religious book. So the white man didn't give us this book. We've been had this book. Matter of fact, let me ask you a question. Who wrote the book of Jeremiah? I'm going to let you know who wrote the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah did. Let me ask you a question. Jeremiah wrote the book of Jeremiah and the book of Lamentations. How does Jeremiah describe himself in this book?
As smart?
Give me that in Jeremiah 8. I'm going to show you how Jeremiah describes himself in this book. Real talk. And then you tell me if a white man gave this to us or not. Read that real quick.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 8 and verse 21.
Read.
For the hurt of the daughters of my people,
Read.
I am hurt. Excuse me. Am I hurt?
Read.
I am black.
I am what?
I am black.
Read.
Astonishment has taken hold of me.
Jeremiah said he's black. He just described himself as being a black man. And this black man wrote the book of Jeremiah. This black man wrote the Lamentation. Now, you heard of Solomon before?
Yeah.
Give me Song of Solomon 1 and 1.
It was like the best riches, all that.
Yeah. Hey, Solomon wrote the Proverbs. He wrote Ecclesiastes. He wrote the Song of Solomon. He wrote the Wisdom of Solomon. Let me show you how Solomon described himself. Read this real quick.
The Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Read.
The Song of Songs, which is Solomon.
This is Solomon's song. Verse 5.
Verse 5.
So Solomon wrote
He wrote this. Watch what he says.
I am black.
What did he say?
I am black.
Solomon just described himself as a black man. This black man wrote this book. We didn't get this book from white people. Give me Job. Job wrote the book of Job.
I like the book of Job.
Let's see what Job. Let's see how Job described himself.
The book of Job,
different.
chapter 30 and verse 30. My skin.
My what?
My skin.
We all got skin. Let's see what he says about his skin.
My skin is black.
Is what?
Is black.
Job is a black man. Hey yo, all the men who wrote this book, these are black men. These are our records, yo. We are the Israelites. Do you see yourself anywhere on this side, bro? You see yourself anywhere on this side? Me personally, I come from the tribe of Judah. I'm a so-called American.
Hey, British.
I'll let you know. Before you get, what do they call you? Do they call you American Black, West Indian, Haitian? What do they call you? Black? Well, according to the Bible, you come from the tribe of Judah. Let me show you how Judah's described. Read that real quick.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, starting at verse 2.
Watch this.
Judah mourner.
Judah mourning. The word Judah, that's where you get the word Jew from.
That's
so
right.
The Bible said the Jews are mourning. Read.
And against their language. They are black.
What color are the Jews?
They are black.
The Bible describes the Jews as black. Read.
They are black unto the ground.
Finish the verse.
And the cry of Jerusalem is going up.
When you think about the ground, it comes in many different shades of what? Black. Many different shades of brown. The deeper you dig, the darker it gets. That's how the Bible described the Jews, bro. That's how it described the Jews.
Hey, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go on this, right? I talked to the brother, well, because I was studying more.
You know what the word more means? Black. Hey, before you continue, how did black people get over here to this side of the world?
So we walk.
Huh? We walk? From Africa?
Yeah, so we came from the east.
Came from the east.
And we already here.
There were some black people here, but what about those that came, like my ancestors weren't here. My ancestors are descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. How did my ancestors get over here?
Boat.
On cargo slave ships. So, are you a descendant of slaves or of the transatlantic slave trade, or are you descendant of Native Indians?
I don't know.
Well, most likely, since you said you're American black, you're probably a descendant of the slave trade. Now, let me show you that us going into slavery on slave ships, that's in the Bible. That's Bible prophecy. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 15 first.
Oh yeah,
verse
I
16.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, start at verse 15.
Read.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments,
Read.
and his statutes
Read.
which I command thee this day,
Read.
that all these curses
All these evil things, read,
shall come upon thee
shall come upon the Israelites, read,
and overtake thee.
and overtake the Israelites. Let's get one of these evil things.
Okay.
Verse 68.
And right after this, you can feel free to ask your question, bro, or make your statement.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
You know what the word Egypt means?
No.
Yeah, when we're speaking about Egypt, we're not talking about the geographical location. I ain't
Right.
talking about Northeast Africa. Let me show you what Egypt means real quick. Read that from me.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, starting at verse 2.
Read.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
Read.
out of the house of bondage.
So the word Egypt means bondage or slavery. So when we go back to 28, Deuteronomy 28,
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and start at verse 68.
read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt.
The Lord shall bring the Israelites into bondage or slavery. Read.
Into Egypt again
How?
with ships.
With ship show. Those ships are cargo slave ships.
Right.
Moses told the Israelites that they were going into slavery on slave ships. Now when you look at world history, what people went into slavery on slave ships? So-called American blacks. That's how we know where the Israelites went.
That's right.
And why he didn't stop it? He didn't stop it because we broke God's laws.
That's right.
Going into slavery on slave ships, that's a penalty or a consequence for transgressing God's commandments. Now finish the verse. Watch this.
With ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Moses said we were going into slavery on slave ships. God damn it, we went into slavery on slave ships. Read, priest.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Talk about our homeland. We haven't seen it again as a collective people. Read.
And there
And there, when you get off those slave ships, read.
ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
No, sold to your family.
Your
No,
enemies.
sold to your friends.
Your
You say
enemies.
you're going to be sold to your enemies. We were sold to white people. What is God calling white people? That's Deuteronomy 28. What is God calling white people?
Your enemies.
The what?
Your enemies.
He said you're going to be sold to your enemies. Weren't we sold to white people?
Your enemies.
That makes them your enemy. This ain't me saying it. This is God saying it.
Hey,
Keep reading, priest.
Your enemies. For bondmen
Slave men
and bondwomen.
and slave women,
And no man shall buy you.
meaning nobody will be able to save you.
Right.
So whose history is that? Our history.
That's
This is how
right.
we know two things. This is how we know first and foremost the Bible's a real book.
That's right.
Prophecy proves the Bible's a real book. And secondly, this is how we know who we are in the Bible. Because we fit that Bible prophecy. That Bible prophecy is now our history. What did you want to say, bro?
Hey, excuse me. I came to a question years ago, and I told my mother, and I don't, I guess because she's a man, right? What she believes in, what she believes in, right? And I told everybody, I would never be a Christian. I would never be a Buddhist. I would never be a whatever. I'm more spiritual. Really, let me gather everything. But however, I'll just like you butt for the conversation. However, you can find every bone. Excuse me, all the men that's written in the Bible, right? You cannot find not one bone.
But we know why, though.
I never.
You don't know why because you didn't research it. You didn't study it.
Right.
I know why, because I researched it. I studied it. I know exactly why. You know what I'm talking about? I know exactly why. I got you. First, let's talk about spiritual.
Okay.
And then we can about, matter of fact, do you want this, bro?
What's that?
You want to deal with the question? Because I've been teaching for a minute. You want to deal with it?
I've been asking, here in my hand, man. A question I've been asking. I know since I left Penn and this was 2006, right?
Your question is, why can't we find any bones or remains of ancient Israelites, right? This is the reason why. Jeremiah 81.
81. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 8, starting at verse 1. At that time, saith the Lord, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah.
This is prophecy. Jeremiah is prophesying about two events. He's prophesying about the ancient Babylonians and the Romans.
Okay.
He's talking about the Romans. He said at that time, the Romans, they're going to bring out the bones of who? Read it again.
At that time, saith the Lord, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah.
Read.
And the bones of his princes. And the bones of his priests. And the bones of the prophets.
Read.
And the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem.
Read.
Out of their graves.
They shall what? Bring them up out of what?
Out of their
They
graves.
shall bring them up out of their graves. They dug their bones. That already happened. This already happened. This is prophecy that was fulfilled. This is the reason why today you can't find the bones. Read the next verse real quick.
Verse 2. And they shall spread them.
And they shall do what?
And they shall spread them.
Read.
Before the sun. And the moon. And all the hosts of heaven.
Read.
Whom they have loved.
Read.
And whom they have served.
Read.
And after whom they have walked.
Keep going.
And whom they have sought. And whom they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered, nor buried.
They shall not be gathered. The bones weren't going to be gathered in museums. They weren't going to be buried. Read.
Nor buried. They shall be for dung.
They shall be for what?
For dung.
They were going to be left out on the ground for fertilizer, yo. What happens to body parts? What happens to the human body? What happens to our skin and our bones? They decompose, bro. They decompose. They took our bodies out of our graves, scattered them out, and left them out there to decompose. Finish the verse.
Upon the face of the earth.
There you go.
I've been trying to answer that question. I know, like I said, something about 15.
Well, now you got the answer, man. Now you got the answer.
And also